Meghan Markle because she made it pretty clear to all her friends and people who work for her not to talk to me. So it was quite an uphill. Trample them, or do they try to ignore them? And how do they get ahead and stay on top? And that's what makes Meghan like halfway through Spare. He knew, as he stood with his family, what he was going to say.
He's sold out. This is
worth it.
Netflix didn't announce it. They didn't promote it. They didn't even try to explain it. They simply let Meghan Markle's show die quietly. No farewell statement, no press release, no talk of a creative pause. And that kind of silence only happens when a platform wants to erase a mistake, without reminding the public it ever existed. While attention was focused elsewhere, on Prince Harry sitting in court looking tense and emotional, the real collapse was happening far away from the cameras. Netflix wasn't watching the courtroom. Netflix was watching the numbers. And according to royal biographer Tom Bower, those numbers told a story that could no longer be ignored. This wasn't bad luck, it wasn't timing, and it definitely wasn't sabotage. It was predictable. What makes this situation so striking is how fast Netflix reached that conclusion. So according to sources cited by Bower, executives realised within just 6 months that they had made a serious mistake. 6 months. For a company that reshaped global entertainment and regularly absorbs flops without blinking, that timeline is devastating. Netflix tolerates controversy. It tolerates backlash. It even tolerates failure. What it does not tolerate is indifference. And that's exactly what Meghan's show produced.
Reported sweet life, running around and doing the things that I think everyone maybe is part of your day-to-day, but if you don't think...
Defenders tried to soften the blow by arguing the series found its audience, but the numbers tell a very different story. The show ranked outside the top 1,200 titles on the entire platform. Not top 100, not top 500, not even close. Over 4 full months, it pulled roughly 2 million views. That might sound respectable until you remember who this was.
A revelation so sharp, so deeply unsettling, that it forces us to look again at everything we thought we knew about.
A duchess with global name recognition, non-stop media attention, a massive budget, and the full backing of Netflix. Meanwhile, independent creators filming in their bedrooms were pulling more views in a fraction of the time. This wasn't a slow burn, it was rejection. Netflix didn't sign Meghan Markle because they wanted a cooking show. They signed her because they believed she had gravity. They believed her presence alone would pull viewers in. They believed her story would translate into authenticity. They believed she could anchor a lifestyle empire. But what executives discovered, according to Bower, was that there was no centre holding it together. There was no unique voice, no originality, no emotional pull. What they got wasn't authenticity, it was performance. And modern audiences can spot performance immediately. Tom Bower didn't hedge his words when discussing this. He didn't soften them or hide behind polite phrasing. He said Meghan does not have talent. Not that she was mishandled. Not that production failed her. Not that the media sabotaged her.
People who were aligned with Meghan, is that true?
Absolutely. She did her very best and her staff to stop people talking to me, but...
Talent. That matters because Bower is not a click-driven commentator. He spent years interviewing more than 80 people who worked with Meghan professionally long before royal life ever entered the picture. His book, Revenge, isn't built on rumour. It's built on patterns. And those patterns never changed. Viewers felt something was off from the very beginning, and insiders later confirmed why. Scenes were reshot repeatedly, not because of lighting issues or technical problems.
Against a controversial claim made by Meghan, Duchess of Sussex. The drama unfolded during a recent red carpet.
But because Meghan didn't like how she looked. Hair had to be perfect, angles had to flatter, nothing could appear messy. But real warmth is messy. Real cooking is messy. So real connection is imperfect. Instead of inviting viewers into a home, the show kept them at arm's length, watching someone perform what she believed relatability should look like. People didn't rage watch. They didn't hate watch. They simply tuned out. Things shifted from dull to uncomfortable when hypocrisy became impossible to ignore. While filming scenes about family, love, and values, Meghan's own father was going through a serious medical crisis and lost his leg. There was no visit, no phone call, no public acknowledgement. Viewers noticed. You cannot sell compassion while visibly withholding it. And when audiences sense hypocrisy, they don't debate it. They disengage. Another detail quietly flagged by insiders was how staged everything felt. The house was rented, the props were rented, even the warmth felt rented. Guests didn't appear relaxed. Interactions felt transactional. It didn't feel like a home, it felt like a set. And audiences can always tell when they're being sold an image instead of shown a life. At first, public reaction followed a familiar pattern. Curiosity turned into skepticism, skepticism turned into frustration, and frustration eventually turned into indifference. That is the point of no return. When it became clear the show was not coming back, there was no outrage, no petitions, no campaigns to save it, just relief. As Tom Bower has noted before, the opposite of love isn't hate.
We're gonna enjoy. Ready? Bespoke packaging, do you see?
It's indifference. And that's exactly where this landed. Early on, sympathy for Meghan and Harry was real. People listened, people cared, people gave the benefit of the doubt, but the narrative never evolved. Every interview revisited the same grievances. Every project circled the same pain. Audiences didn't turn cruel, they turned tired. In American culture, comeback stories matter, but only if there is an actual comeback. Eventually, people ask one simple question: what are you building?
The ill father has sent a heartfelt message to his daughter, pleading, "I don't want to die estranged." Thomas.
And there was no answer. According to insiders, panic mode slowly became visible. Meghan returned to Sunshine Sachs, the same crisis PR firm from earlier periods. You don't go back to crisis managers when things are thriving. You go back when momentum is gone. At the same time, scattered product launches appeared. Low-impact merchandise and branding attempts that felt less like strategy and more like desperation. Hollywood recognizes desperation instantly, and it repels opportunity. Behind the scenes, the financial picture grew more serious. Roughly $38 million had been burned on projects that produced little to nothing. Cancelled podcasts, unwatched shows, one-off book deals. Meanwhile, expenses never slowed. Security costs, property obligations, and a high-end lifestyle continued. Netflix's response wasn't dramatic, it was calculated. There was no public breakup, just no renewal. That's how platforms disengage when they want distance without backlash. The core miscalculation is the one Tom Bower warned about years ago. They believed leaving the institution would create more power. But the institution was the platform. It provided relevance, structure, and restraint. Once that disappeared, so did the gravity. Without the royal frame, there was nothing anchoring attention. And attention is the only real currency in Hollywood. So where does that leave everything now? No third season, no major renewals, no clear next chapter, just quiet fading. This isn't a collapse driven by scandal, it's a collapse driven by irrelevance. And that is the hardest ending of all, because there is no villain to blame, only choices. This story was never about cruelty. It was about squandered opportunity. Billions watched the wedding. The world was listening.
Handed about who Meghan is when she was born and how her rise unfolded doesn't match the
and nothing lasting was built. So now the question is simple. Is this the end of the Hollywood dream or just the beginning of a much quieter chapter? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if you want more deep dive breakdowns like this, subscribe and turn on notifications. Because this story isn't over. It's just no longer center stage.